Okay, so I have, in the last video, if you guys watched it, which you should be watching it, I bought a new 8 terabyte Western Digital hard drive, and the purpose for that hard drive was simply that it was going to be a backup of my backup. And it's really important for you guys to have backups of your backup, because as I had said in that other video, if your backup fails, then what? You know, you could have files on there that you've deleted off your main machine, and these were long-term backups. So I was thinking, and I was like, and for some of us, like myself, that is working more and more from home now, I actually work completely from home because this is the stuff that I do for you guys, is what happens if I'm in the middle of something and the power goes out and my computer fails? It shuts down, but it doesn't shut down, it just boom, right? And the hard drives that are all plugged in just abruptly fail or stop. Well, you could lose all your data. Like all of it could go, because drives need to shut down properly. And when you lose power, you run the risk of a failure happening. Plus, if you're in the middle of something and you've been spending 1 or 2 hours on it and you haven't saved, because we all do that, admit it, we all just trust that power is going to stay there, then we don't have a chance to actually shut the machine down. And for those of us that live in an area that's a little older, for instance, we may not have really good power that's coming into our house. So our power actually fluctuates like this. So it just kind of fluctuates all the time, has its highs, it has its lows. But really we want our power to be on a nice, consistent. And if you have a computer, for instance, that experiences a lot of errors, a lot of times we think that it's hard drive related or that it's the software having problems. And it can be, 100% it can be. But it can also be power fluctuations in our home that are causing this. So, a lot of reasons for you and I to have something like this. And this is, I bought the CyberPower, and this is their 1325VA 810 watts. And this is what's called a UPS, or an uninterrupted power supply. So basically, it does two things. It equalizes the power that comes to whatever's plugged into it, which is, first off, really good. And two, it'll actually give you, because it has a battery inside it, up to, and it says here, you can see this, right? Does it say it here? Oh yeah, up to 138 minutes of runtime when there's no power. And again, that all depends on what is plugged in and how much power that needs. So what we're gonna do is, we're going to unbox this so you guys can see what's in this one. Now this one cost me $179 Canadian. And yeah, so we're gonna open it, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually organize my room a bit more, and we're gonna take a look at what everything shows up on the screen and kind of what it gives us. Yeah? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Myself, actually. All right guys, coming up. All right, so this is the front, right? Protect electronics from damaging surges, that's what we talked about, and stay powered during outages. All cool, automatic voltage regulator, 10 grounded outlets. It has two, you can see them here, 2.1 amp USB charging ports, 890 joules of surge protection, connected equipment guarantee for $500,000. I don't have that much, but if there was something, all my gear was connected to it and something did get through, covered, 3-year limited warranty. So that's a whole bunch of, all right. Now, oh my gosh, and it is heavy, just so you know. It's heavy. You gotta think, this is like just one, probably a bunch. It's just a big battery, really, right? And I turned it over, and it's the exact same stuff. What am I looking for? Oh, this is what I'm looking for, way over here. Actually, maybe you guys can read it on this side, maybe. Does it say it on here? I read it somewhere that it talked about what it actually can power. I'm sure I read it somewhere. Maybe I'm just crazy in my own head. Now I'm using it to protect and power a computer, but my thought is this could also really be good for those of us that have like your TV, right? Your TV, or you have a PlayStation or Xbox plugged into it. Let's say the power goes out. It doesn't go out for long periods of time, possibly. Maybe it goes out for half an hour or an hour or whatever. I was reading somewhere that this one, I think this one, can power like a PlayStation and a 43-inch TV for like almost 2 hours. So I'm like, yeah, that would be cool, because you got nothing else you can do. You might as well play some games. All right, let's crack it open, because I'm a little excited, a little bit. I think it opens from the side. There it is. Okay. Again, it's large, right? So it's like a little computer in size-wise. I don't want to necessarily drop it. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Is there any manual in there? So everything's, it's fancy. Ah, the smell of the new electronics. Breathe it in, my friends. Breathe it in. Okay, and we're gonna, so just so you guys can see, I'm gonna take it off because I'm not a fan of the styrofoam squeaky sound. You know that sound I'm talking about? Oh, it must have power in it. It's not plugged in. Oh, all the batteries are definitely in the front. Yeah, definitely in the front. Okay, so I think I got a shelf in the room that is where I want to put this. And I think that'll fit nicely. You guys see that? You guys can see that, right? It looks like a little tiny computer. Ready? Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so it comes with a USB, I think that's like a USB-B, so the same kind of USB that goes like in the back of a printer, and then USB. And these are, I'm pretty sure, possibly just USB 2s, because it's not being used for any kind of data movement. It's strictly being used as a power device. So I am going to read this. It does say that you can download their software, and we may get into that once this is all hooked up. But the software, of course, is to actually set this up for how you want it to run, right? And of course, there's your power. Now, do realize this requires power with a ground. Okay, that's important that we realize that. Now, on the back, I'm hoping you guys can see this, because I can't necessarily, forgot to flip that monitor around. You can see here on the back, right, we've got, you can actually plug in like coax stuff, so your TV. You can have your Ethernet go through it, just in case the Ethernet has to get cleaned, right? You do have 10 ports. So these are surge protected ones, and these are, so I think there's a difference, right? This circuit breaker, surge plus battery. So anything on this side, surge plus battery. This side, just surge. So make sure like your computer is on this side, and make sure if you have the hard drives plugged in on this side, etc. Anything that could have an issue, especially if the power went out. Now on this side, you could be like, well, I also have my light, or I'm charging something else. And you're like, I might as well just plug it into there. Sure, because that's not gonna hurt if a surge happens, right? Or if the power goes out. So that's where you plug in on this side. Still protects from surges, but doesn't have that power. So these will die if the power goes out. These will be fine. So for me, computer and hard drives on this side. All right, guys. We're gonna plug this. We're gonna plug this in. It's gonna take a little bit. Oh yeah, look, it has a screen. That's all I really wanted. I wanted something, because screens are cool, right? All right, we're gonna plug this in, and I'm gonna play with it for the next day or two. Set it all up, get it running the way I want, and then I'm gonna continue this video for you. Instantaneous, the magic of the internet and video editing, I guess. All right, guys, we'll be back. Stay tuned. Hold on, we'll be back.
I got it all set up. It's working. It's right there. You guys can see it. Just a brief tour of how I did it. Of course, I can't show you the back, but right here, of course, I have the actual UPS, so uninterrupted power supply is what that stands for. I have 2 hard drives plugged into it, so these are my 2 backups, so 2 Western Digital 8 terabytes that are running right now. And basically what I have plugged in the back of this, now I have a lot of electronics in here, but in the back of this I have my iMac is plugged in, and what's plugged into the iMac is my 2 SSDs and my Time Machine backup, which is backing up basically the system's operating system. So it's backing up this. These 2 machines here, or these 2 hard drives here, are backing up all my video files and video projects. So anything that I'm currently working on or has not yet been put out yet on YouTube or for somebody. On the doorbell, hold on. All right, so I'm back. So yeah, so 2 hard drives, computer is powering all those solid state drives, and just above this, you guys can't see it, but there's a little tiny mini box computer with a little display. I'll just kind of pivot the screen up here so you guys can see that. There's a mess of cables, right? Little box right there, and a little display right there. That's it. The display itself, and this is kind of important. I want to make sure this is still focusing. I think it is. Yep. Good, I think. Is right here. So the display goes off when you're not using it, which makes sense because it is trying to conserve power. So if you tap on it, it lights up. And right now you can see this kind of stays consistent. It says it's in normal, but there's a bunch of them here, little symbols. So if something goes wrong, they'll light up. Okay. Battery capacity, I'm at full, right? My load capacity is not very much right now. And that's with all of this plugged in. The Windows computer is running, my iMac's running. The drives are actually right now doing a clone. So they're both running. And you can actually see your kilowatt output usage right now. Now, if you tap on this, you'll go through it. So this one is showing your output, your percentage output, your load capacity again. Right? Battery capacity, right now I'm at 100%. Now, when I got this and unpacked it and plugged it in, it was at 90, which was fine. It just charged over the next maybe hour or two to get it up to 100%. Going through this is kind of the important one for a lot of us. This is showing the estimated runtime. So right now, if the computers were to consistently keep doing what they're doing, and just so you guys know, I actually have Final Cut running in the background, which is rendering. So that's doing something. I'm screen recording. Doing audio, so it's pulling in through here. The hard drives are going, and Windows is running. And it says I should get anywhere from about 45 minutes to an hour. And that's with all of these. So that's actually really good. And if this is not working, I usually get somewhere in the hour and 10 minutes is what it's kind of been saying. So you even see right here, right? It kind of settles a lot of times in around 60, 62, 57, in that kind of range. So that's not too bad. And you do have 2 USB ports on the front. I'm actually powering that little tiny 15-inch monitor up top through the USB because that's all it needs. So really cool. Now, the other thing that we're going to take a look at is this over here. So we're good with this, and you'll see the display actually went to sleep. So very, very nice. Now, if we come over here, you can, like I said, download this is it here, CyberPower, and I'm going to see if I can find it. Yeah, Power Panel Personal. You can just download it. It has it for Windows and it has it for Mac. So this will come up. I'm just going to shut down some of these windows. These are just my backups running. And you'll see this, it takes a minute, so don't freak out the first time it comes up. It says unable to establish communication. It has to read the system. Last time it did it too, I was like, what is wrong? Because that's that USB port on the back of the computer. That gets plugged in here, and then it fires up on the front. So we'll just give it a second. It should power up. All right, so it's finally come up. It took almost like 30 seconds or so, but again, my computer's doing a lot of stuff, so I blame that. Anyways, here it is. So you can see the UPS is working normally, which is excellent. The other thing here is it's telling you all this kind of information. Remaining battery. It says right now, see it's going up from 44 to 58 minutes. UPS load, hardware status, estimated runtime, battery capacity. It's plugged into the wall, which is great. And this is the current status. You have a summary. So if you've had any power outages or anything like that, which can be good, maybe you are away and you're trying to figure out why your battery is low. It says you had a power outage for 23 minutes. That's kind of nice. Any boosts or bucks inside your power over the last week. And event logs, which is nice. Now this information is really great, but if you come in here, we'll go back here and we'll talk about this one. You can actually see like energy reporting. So this allows you to actually see, because really you have all this stuff in your room, and does any of us actually really know how much it's costing us to run it? Well, probably not. So right now you can actually go into energy settings and set your region, set your cost per kilowatt. Now, you can't go too deep. Ours here, I have it set to 0.13. For Ontario, where I live, the average is 0.125. Now, I couldn't put 0.125, so I actually just rounded it up to 0.13. But it's telling me right now, right, a cumulative, can't speak, cumulative cost right now, and this is since I plugged this in yesterday, 9 cents. So 24 hours, this has been on and running and working. It costs about 9 cents. So I've gone through 690 watt hours, right? It's good information to know, actually. Now, inside this energy setting, like I said, that's where you put all that information. Now, you can also go into the settings, and this is where you can do things like schedule. This can schedule your computer for when it's going to turn off and when it's going to turn on. You have every day of the week. Notifications, so enable power panel notifications. I actually have mine set up so that if something happens to the UPS or it has to go on or turn on or it's starting to get low or shut down, that it emails me, which is also really nice. So if I'm away from here, I know that that's happening. You have runtime, so it can decide, or you can decide, keep running or preserve battery power. So if something happens, do you want this to just kind of run through itself, or do you want to immediately start shutting everything down? So that's up to you. I actually have mine to stay running, but you can see here, when there's 5 minutes left of power on the UPS, start the shutdown process. And you can set this to as much as you want, up to 10 minutes. I've got mine for 5. 5 should be enough for it to shut everything down properly. Voltage, same thing. UPS will intervene if it goes below 100 watts or above 139. You can come in here and do a self-test. I haven't done that yet, but I will. And then advanced. And inside here, power quality according to medium sensitivity. You can adjust this. What does it do? I honestly, I'm not even too sure. And you can specify the manner in which the computer is shut down. So shutdown type, shutdown, or hibernation. And for me, I want mine to shut down. So not go to sleep. I want it to turn off because it should go through the process and make sure everything shuts down properly. And that's really what I want. Now, the other cool thing that happens, and actually you'll see my estimated runtime now is over an hour. So we're at 62 minutes-ish. Is that on a Mac at least, and I don't know if it does this on a Windows platform, but you actually get up top here, you get this little lightning bolt. And normally there's no power anything on the iMac. You do have it, of course, on a laptop because it's trying to decide, you know, if you're running off of AC power or if you're running off of battery power. This shows up and it knows, I don't know if it's a piece of software that Power Panel installs, but it knows that this now is plugged into an actual UPS device. So when you click on this, you actually see it's connected to UPS, power source UPS. And now you can go into these energy settings inside your computer, and under UPS, you know, tell it when you want to shut down the display and slightly dim the display, etc., etc. This is not normally there because it only has AC normally. So another kind of cool thing. So do I think these are useful? 100% without question. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get one. They seem like they're an expense. They're expensive. And a lot of us think of them as just a really fancy power bar, right? But they're not. And you can get these that look like power bars that still have this. And you may not need one that's going to give you an hour or 2 hours of power. You may need one that's going to give you 20 minutes just so that you have enough power to shut it down in case something goes wrong. Because the last thing you and I want is for that power to immediately get just disconnected, gone, and all the data on our machines have been lost, you know. So yeah, very cool. Take a look at the different ones. Realize too that the number, this is a 1325, doesn't mean that it's 1,325 watts. This one was 800 watts, amps, I can't remember, 800. So the number doesn't correlate necessarily. Look at the information and look at, it'll say usually on the box how much time this should give you. So kind of important, right? All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put links down below to the CyberPower one that I got. But look at the different ones if you're interested and figure out which is going to be best for your needs. All right, my friends, that's it. Links down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that little bell guy, because he's awesome. And you and I, again, more hanging out, which is always good. And that's it. I'm going to run this self-test. All right, guys, I'm out. Later.